talking about SNL, the history, the mysteries, and all the hot impressions in between, breaking down all the numbers as well. In your favorite sketches with special guests, it's on the Saturday Night Network.
Welcome on in, everybody, to our Monday night roundtable, here to talk about the Sabrina Carpenter double duty episode of Saturday Night Live, season 51, episode 3. My name is Jon Schneider from the SNN. Very pumped to be with you on this Monday to talk about another fun episode of SNL. We got a great panel here tonight, and of course, we are here as a presentation of LateNighter.com. So joining us first is my man, Andrew Haskell. Haskell, how are you?
Feeling good, John. Making my season debut. So excited. I've been excited about the start to the season and kind of been itching to be here and talk SNL with you.
Yeah, we kept you in the bullpen, but we're bringing you out tonight to give us your hot takes. So excited about that, Haskell. Joining us from Orange County is my man, Sean Grant. Sean, how are you?
Oh, man, I'm excited. I'm itching, but not because I'm excited, just because I'm itching, man, because I make bad sexual decisions. No, I'm just playing. Hey, man, what? No, man. Good to be here, man. I'm not itching. I don't have crabs or anything like that. Just excited to be here, talk to these geniuses, and also John.
Yes. Did I miss something there? Were you about to tell me something, Sean?
No, I said that the Haskell and Nicola are geniuses. You're not, your takes are, I don't know. I don't know what you're going to do, John. All right. I'm waiting on the takes because sometimes you go off the rails, man. Sometimes I don't know what you're talking about. All right.
Hey, if I go off the rails, you're
a little too nerdy, man. You're a little too into the numbers, man. All right. You're in the matrix.
This isn't the number show tonight, so we'll see what comes up as we go through everything we have here tonight. And joining us as well is one of our amazing producers here at the SNN, and that is Nicola Cross. Nicola, how are you?
I'm doing so great. I'm so excited to be here for my roundtable debut and such an exciting episode for me to be talking about. I'm so pumped. Thank you for having me.
Of course, I'm excited to have you and welcome you to your first official roundtable. And part of the reason that you are here tonight is because you attended your first episode of Saturday Night Live in person. You were there for the live show. So give us the brief summary. How was it?
Oh, it was so great. So I won the lottery and I put Sabrina as one of my dream hosts in my email, and it was crazy. I sat behind Questlove, which was like insane. I was trying not to watch him the whole time because I just wanted to see how he was reacting, and that was really cool. I saw Lucy from Adults, and yeah, just a really cool time. I'll get more into the actual show parts of it all, but those are my general non-sketch related notes.
Yeah, that is so awesome. It's really cool when you just are there and see it in person and experience it all for the first time, because there's nothing like it after watching on TV for years and years. So Nicola, I'm excited to get your perspective on the sketches tonight, having that bird's eye view from inside the studio. So let's talk about Sabrina Carpenter, who was booked for this episode. Host and musical guest. She was previously a musical guest 2 years back for the finale with Jake Gyllenhaal. She did a pretty fun sketch that time where she was in like the Scooby-Doo pre-tape. And we're like, okay, we see it. Sabrina's probably going to host at some point. She would then go on to appear in the 50th anniversary special, actually open it up with Paul Simon, then do Domingo. And we're like, okay, this is probably going to happen sometime soon. She's then going to cameo in the Quinta Brunson episode. And it felt like there's this big ramp up to this night. And we finally have it, Haskell. Sabrina Carpenter is our next host. How do you feel about her booking for this show?
The future Mrs. Haskell, once I can get my wife on board with it. But no, Sabrina Carpenter is like, this is who should be hosting SNL. Like, she's like the biggest pop star in the world right now. I think you turn on the radio, you're hearing her songs. I think everybody knows who she is. She's got this amazing personality. Like, I think if you were to ask people to put it into like a bucket, like who should host SNL, I think most people are going to give you like a list of like alumni, and then you'll get the list of like really good comics, and then I think you're getting this person. But this is the lifeblood of SNL, like the biggest stars in the world hosting SNL. And you mentioned her on SNL 50, and it was like she had only been musical guest once, and she shows up on SNL 50 and she feels like at home. Like it felt like she's supposed to be there. And I don't know how many one-time musical guests that would have made sense for. And she just felt like a part of the show. So I think she would have been I don't know what the betting odds were, but she would have been my betting favorite to host the premiere this year. And obviously schedules don't always line up for it to be like that, but she was the absolute no-brainer home run decision to be an SNL host.
And it really felt like last year they were using the clip of her saying, like, I'm on SNL and you're not, like, more than anything else to market the 50th anniversary season. So I think that they fell in love with Sabrina Carpenter, having her there in the 49 finale, realizing how big she was getting, and felt that they had to continue to have her at the show. Nicola, clearly you are a huge fan of Sabrina Carpenter, and that's why you put her in your ballot to get tickets for this week. So tell us how you felt about her being booked for this episode.
Oh, I was so excited. I've loved her since Girl Meets World and been bumping Sue Me for a long time now. One of my favorite songs of hers. And to me, like I put her in my lottery email because I knew she would be amazing, but also I was so confident that she was going to host this year. And after seeing her in the 50th and her as a musical guest, and I'm wondering if her relationship with the show maybe even started. She was in Mean Girls the musical, which Lorne produced on Broadway, and so I'm wondering if that's kind of when that relationship started, and he saw her in that. It was like, okay, we're waiting until she blows up, and then immediately as she kind of hits this rise in her pop star stardom, she gets on the show, and I'm so happy for it. I think she did an amazing job.
I think she did a great job. And also, Haskell mentioned the biggest pop star in the world. I'm sure that, Taylor Swift would have something to say about that. But I don't know that the show can get Taylor Swift to host the show. I'm sure she's been asked many times. I don't know that she's ever going to do it again. She had that one time. She told Seth Meyers last week or 2 weeks ago that she absolutely loved getting to host that one time. It was one of the best nights in her career up to that point. I don't know that she's coming back. I feel like Sabrina sort of takes that Taylor slot as like she is becoming that type of figure. And I do think that there is something about the show and her that seemed like a great fit. Sean, how did you feel about Sabrina Carpenter coming in and hosting this episode?
I'll be honest, I didn't know who she was, man. I didn't know who she was. I'm old. I watch body cam footage in SNL sometimes. I'm ashamed. I have no idea. And I had to watch her episode twice because I knew there was a lot of technical things going on with the late start. So, I wanted to give it it was a fun episode, man. I was excited to see her chemistry with the cast and how they made it work. It just, obviously, I'm sure that the beginning had something, it needed something because of the late start. And I'm sure we'll hear more about that from Nicola. But other than that, man, I was pleased with what I saw. I just had no idea who she was. So maybe I assume she was like a Britney Spears. She was on Disney Channel kid or something like that. And she's really sexual now. Is that the thing? So I'm old. So I just go, oh, that's Britney Spears now. Right. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that probably not exactly Britney Spears, but I guess for
you just don't want her to be Britney Spears. She's Britney Spears. I'm old, man. She's Britney Spears.
I feel like Tate McRae is more Britney Spears, just stylistically.
At least you're not. It's Madonna old, because there's just people older than you that looked at Britney Spears and was like, "Oh, it's Madonna."
Okay,
that's for sure. Yeah, and Sean, I mean, you said you watched body cam footage, so I'm surprised you didn't see Sabrina arresting anybody lately.
Has she been arrested?
Well, that was the whole monologue, Sean.
Wait, really? Oh, wow. Oh, yes. My goodness. I don't know. It's just
almost every concert she gets arrested and arrested.
Oh, okay. I'm talking about like drunk drivers and stuff. Okay.
No, not that. Not that. But she definitely is. She is definitely sexually charged, and that's part of her brand.
Maryland. Ooh, what a sexy, unusual place.
Yeah. Nicola, maybe as the Sabrina expert on the panel, you can clarify the branding here for us.
Yeah, I think it's different in a way from like other Disney stars we've seen when they kind of like Miley Cyrus Can't Be Tamed era. And like the era that Sabrina comes from Disney was a bit more relaxed. And this felt more of like kind of a gradual transition for her. And I think it like she kind of dipped her toes in and is now like it was a gradual sexual tension increase.
Yeah, it definitely feels like that's what's happening there. Well, with Sabrina coming to the show, or actually, you know what? Before I get there, I do want to talk about something Sean brought up, which was that if maybe you weren't watching the show live and didn't have this experience, but for most of us who do watch the show live on Saturday nights, there was an interesting experience where the show started approximately 12 to 13-ish minutes late. It's not unusual. We did post a graphic on our social accounts at the SNL Network today to show that this has happened many times over the years. But Nicola, I did want to ask you, I think I texted you about this, but the audience in the studio, you guys had no idea the show was starting late?
I had no idea it was started late. Like my phone was already off. I had no concept of time in there. Like when it happened, and I do not remember them making any sort of announcement like we're going late. I don't know if they like pushed back when Marcelo and Give Me Some Lovin' came on, or if they had them and then waited a bit, or like when that news from the delay came in. But I did not know of it in studio.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I would have to imagine that maybe like 12, 13 minutes isn't enough to notify the studio audience, but we have had some times where the show has actually started after midnight, including like a couple times when like Charles Barkley hosted the show. And I wonder if at those episodes they either bring out other performers to do stand-up acts, or and it's now transitioned from Michael Che over to Marcelo, who's doing it this year. Maybe they would bring out somebody else or notify the audience. But it is fascinating that you guys are sort of like in this bubble for an hour and a half and have no idea what time it is. That just fascinates me.
So
Okay.
wait,
Yeah, go ahead,
John. I'm sure all of you guys have been to a live event. I know John has, and obviously Nicola and Haskell. So they don't have a warm-up guy at all? Like there's no warm-up person that goes, hey guys, there's nothing like that. They just do the show like straight up. Oh wow.
Well, they have
It's
Marcelo.
just like Marcelo coming out, and he does like a little stand-up bit. He threw out T-shirts, like the concert shirts that I'm wearing right now.
Okay.
And then they have Give Me Some Loving, like Keenan come on and sing a bit and hype up the crowd. But then it
Kenan
kind of
Thompson
lulled
came out?
down. Pardon?
Oh, you said Kenan Thompson came out and sang?
Yeah.
What?
Does Keenan have a new batch of backup singers with
Yes.
such fast turnover?
So Ashley and Veronica are now his backup singers.
That's a graphic
In
we
place
need.
of
We need
them,
to figure
and
out
place
all of
Louis as
the
well.
backup singers. That
All
Keenan's
of the
had.
backup singers from over the years. That's something we could definitely work on over here. But yeah, typically, Sean, they have one of the cast members do some sort of warm up. It's not really a full stand up set. There might be a couple jokes about like what's happening in New York. Like sometimes they'll reference like, oh, maybe it's the mayoral election or something, and then we'll ask a couple of people in the audience where they're from, just to get like the crowd loose and make some jokes, and then Keenan will come out with this like very hyped song, Give Me Some Loving, and we'll have 3 of the SNL women like dressed up and dancing behind him, singing as well. And yeah, that's been the tradition for a long time. So because of the turnover in some of the cast, it is interesting that they've now transitioned to Marcelo doing the warm-up and some of the other women doing that before the actual show starts. Of course, we see none of this on TV, but this is what happens live in the studio.
Wow.
Although, if you still watch on network TV, your local news sometimes will do a live look-in, and you'll get to see Keenan singing.
Yes, that is true. And even I think during the college football game this week, they did a live look-in at dress rehearsal showing the Girl Boss seminar sketch. So sometimes you get those like extra sneak peeks to see it if you're tuning into NBC earlier. Okay, so with Sabrina Carpenter being booked for the show, the biggest question mark on the board was, would they go back to Domingo? This is something that they did as a trilogy last year, including the 50th anniversary special, where Domingo probably grew bigger than they ever thought it would the first time they did it. They decided to bring it back again. Everyone's like, okay, it's kind of fun. I mean, even me, who didn't love it the first night, kind of grew on me. And then at the 50th, I thought it was really fun because of all the added extra people in it. And it just felt like a huge like party moment. And they decide to bring it back here for a 4th time to open up the show. So I thought that this was a really fascinating call as we see
One night with Domingo.
again for Matt's 30th birthday, where Dismukes and Chloe, playing Matt and Kelsey, are there for the 30th birthday party, as it is announced that some of the Kel Squad will be back, with Sarah, Sabrina, Ashley, and Veronica replacing some of the departed cast members in this sketch. Eventually, Marcelo will come out.
Kelsey, I'm here.
And it is chaos as the crowd goes wild, right? Well, not really, but we do have Domingo for the fourth time here. And Nicola, I have to start with you on this. The decision to bring back Domingo was fascinating to me. I get why they did it. It makes sense. People were wondering if this was going to happen. To me at home, the crowd was dead when this was playing. Did you experience this in the studio?
So I only noticed it after checking Twitter after I came out. I think I was just so wrapped up in the energy of it all and being there that I was like so locked in on making sure I was watching the sketch like on the floor instead of on the TVs. So I personally didn't notice the volume of the crowd that a lot of people were getting through their TVs. Domingo was something, it's the first thing I talked about on a Patreon show here, and it's something that I didn't get at first. And I did like the trilogy. I'm happy they gave it the cold open slot kind of instead of a sketch slot, but yeah.
Haskell, I don't even know what they're making fun of in Domingo anymore, because for me, it's like, it just feels that it's like a Mad Lib. Like they're just trying to fill in the blank of what the song is and who the people are dancing and what occasion that they're celebrating. But at first I could wrap my head around, okay, at a wedding, sometimes bridesmaids or groomsmen do like these weird, bad performances, and it's kind of funny. And the fact that they did it to a popular song and then it got catchy, like I can get all of that. This is the most like we're doing this to do this thing that I think I've seen in a long time on the show.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head a couple times. Like they've sort of lost the thread on the idea that, like, you know, Ariana Grande nailed it in that first one with like the bad singing, the forcing of the lyrics into a popular song. And they have lost that thread a little bit. And then putting it in the cold open spot. Listen, I'm so on the fence about that, because on one side, the energy of the sketch felt like, hey, the original sketch was a Sabrina Carpenter song. She did it as SNL 50. She arrested Domingo at one of her concerts. Like it almost came like, we have to do this, so let's get it out of the way in the cold open. And I think that energy trickled through the sketch. I think the sketch itself, if they want to continue Domingo, and I think it's something that could be worth keeping in the rotation. We talk so much about how this current era of SNL doesn't have enough characters and repeat characters and recurring characters. This could be something to keep going, but it's starting to feel a little bit like the down sketches of Debbie Downer, no pun intended, like where it just felt like, well, we have to do this, and the things that made the original sketch funny are not what they were leaning into later on. I think there's a few things that first and foremost, I think there just needs to be a little bit more surprise. I think it's like you see Chloe Fineman, you see Andrew Dismukes, and you know exactly where we are, and you know what every beat is going to take. I think one, twist it up on us sometimes. Make it not Domingo. Like make Domingo also in the Dismukes chair. Like she went to go see Domingo, but now Domingo's left outside too. And I know they kind of did a little bit of that with SNL 50 with bringing in his family and stuff, or it's the cold open. Like, get a little topical with it. Like, make it Mamdani or something. Like, if you're going to be in the cold open, it doesn't always have to be political, but you can make it topical. So, I don't think I was quite as down on this as some people. When I first started, I was like, I'm going to be really down on this. But then seeing some of the responses, I'm like, it was okay as a cold open, but I think there's plenty of ways that they can throw a little bit more juice into this recurring sketch.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't down on it because the sketch itself or the jokes were like so horrible. I felt like what I was watching was a sketch that was decided on in like August when Sabrina Carpenter was booked for the show. Like, I don't feel like, I know that the writers wrote it this week, but it felt to me like everything was already prepared, and it was so fill in the blank that I had trouble with it. And I think that Debbie Downer is an interesting comparison. I don't think personally it's the right comparison, Haskell. I think this is more Californians, and I compare it in multiple ways. One, the Californians also had their moment in the 40th. It was also a sketch that, though I tend to prefer that to Domingo, was sort of like this big inside joke between the cast. And I think that it's possible that like there was questions of like, do we bring it back after the 40th anniversary, after you have Betty White, making out with Bradley Cooper, and you get this big moment? And they decided to bring it back about 3 years later when Bill Hader hosted the show. And I think that if you were going to do that, that is the right spot to do it in. I think if Ariana Grande was hosting or Sabrina were hosting in a couple of years, it's like, okay, let's go back to this. This felt way too soon for me to go back to something that had a really like natural conclusion to it. Sean, I'm so curious how you felt about the cold open here.
I do agree. I mean, I do want to say, first of all, let me attack Rich T in the comments. I saw what you said, you punk. My enemy Rich is in the YouTube comments talking about I just watched. First of all, you don't even mention Mad TV in this. How dare you? Okay, fire him. Make sure he never does another episode of the SNL podcast. Rich T, you're fired. I just told you that. And I did watch. Of course, I watched the show. What's wrong with you people? And yes, so there's a difference between a game sketch, like things they do at UCB, and a character sketch. I don't think Domingo, even though it's called Domingo, and it seems like it's about Domingo, it's not really a character sketch. I don't think Domingo is a strong character, because in order for it to be a character sketch, the character themselves has to have games within the character, like things that there are some sketches that blend both perfectly, but this is not one of them. It's more the pattern is what happens when she goes on vacation with Domingo. It has nothing to do with the strong character choices of Domingo. It's not like he could sit on the Weekend Update desk and just talk, and you'd be able to find games and patterns like you would with a Stefan or with another character that has their own little idiosyncrasies within them. He's just a Latin lover, and he's doing the accent and things like that, but it has nothing to do with the character choices of Domingo, why that sketch ever worked. So it's just doing the same sketch over and over again, it seems, at this point. So I agree with that. I don't think it was the right spot at the beginning. I agree, it should have been something topical. And I don't know that, that Domingo will come back, man. I don't know what else you could even do with him, as far as that. Oh, I like some of Haskell's ideas, like bringing in maybe another lover to foil Domingo, but I guess that could be like a Bad Bunny type guy or something like that. I don't know, but to me, it's played out.
I hate to say it, but I actually would have preferred the cold open had James Austin Johnson's Trump come in and tabloid it, like interrupted it, because that would actually amuse me, because of all of the people who don't regularly watch the show but love Domingo, and they would be so annoyed that they don't get their Domingo because Trump is blocking it. Even though we've seen that trope so many times, that would have cracked me up a lot. Nicola, I would love to know how you feel about the cold open. Obviously, we talked about you seeing it in the audience, but how did this play for you?
I knew it was coming, and I wasn't the most excited about it. And I think when seeing Domingo and seeing it reoccurring, the thing that I now look for is, because I know it's usually not for me, but I know a lot of other people enjoy it. So I was trying to look for people that were enjoying it and enjoy their reactions to it, even if it wasn't up my lane for something. Because I mean, I love Bald Men Musical. Not everybody loved Bald Men Musical, but everybody has their thing.
I loved Bald Men Musical. That I agree with you about. Sean, let me just bring you back in. What were you saying?
Just to foil you, Rich, I did research, and I'm about to stump John. John, who's the character? Who has the most original character appearances in the history of SNL? The most original character, not like an impression. Original character.
Which character has appeared the most in the history of the show? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
Is that like a weekend? Is it a Weekend Update guy? Or
well, he's done Weekend Update, but yeah, he's in other sketches and things.
Is it Stefan?
Stefano has 22. No, it's Father Guido.
Guido Sarducci, yes. Yeah, that's a good
Guido
one.
Sarducci, 32. Yes, I
Nice.
researched, Rich, and I just stumped.
Yes,
John.
I should have known that actually because I did pull that stat for helping with an article.
Oh,
recently.
now
But
you
yeah,
pulled
but,
that stat. Now you
but,
pulled it already.
but you are right. You are totally right. I should have known that. That's my bad. But yes, apparently Sean knows Saturday Night Live, and that's why we have him here. Okay, so we talked about it, and look, and if you enjoyed Domingo, very happy for you. I'm glad you got it. Let's talk about what else we had in this episode that we would like to break down. So Haskell, I'm going to send it over to you. Where do you want to start tonight with the rest of the episode?
I really liked this girl boss sketch. I think that there is a market right now for SNL to kind of parody a lot of these self-help seminar by my class sort of people that are like infecting social media. And I just thought, it's a good kind of fun first step into that. And I'm on this podcast a lot saying like I want the show to be more dynamic in their blocking and to be throwing people around, even if they're fake people, and throwing them out the window is really fun, especially when you get to a situation where somebody's supposed to be thrown out the window and they're not, and Keenan has to on the fly kind of make something up. Like I thought that was really fun. Seeing Chloe's response to that was really good too. Like there's nothing better than like a break, like an honest break. It's not somebody laughing at something that they've saw in dress and you're like, well, it is probably funny in the moment, but you've seen this before. In a situation like that where you can tell something went wrong and they're reacting to it is like a really good honest break that I enjoyed. I liked the game of the sketch. I really liked Sarah Sherman as kind of the straight man of the sketch too, of her kind of questioning, like, she has a concussion. We need to check her out. Like, it is fun to see different cast members. I think a different host, if it was a male host or maybe even a different female host, Sarah Sherman might actually be playing the character that's the girl boss, and the host is playing the straight man. So it's fun to see that get kind of jumbled. And then a couple of the rookie cast members getting that those good background roles in the form of dancers just throwing her around. So I thought it wasn't the best sketch, but I thought it was a pretty fun sketch and a pretty dynamic sketch.
Yeah, I'm glad you like this because it really didn't work for me, at least the first time I saw it, and I'm like happy to have the debate on it because I think that I love the concept of the sketch. I do think that the physicality of it worked a lot more for me than the words that they were saying. Like, I get the idea of like her having this brain damage is trying to pull it off, but I think like Keenan saved the sketch for me with the dummy not falling out the window. And again, you cannot do this justice on a podcast, but his reaction where he sort of like inflates his face as he's trying not to laugh, realizing that now he has to save the sketch by throwing the dummy back out the window, and then cutting to Chloe and Sarah in the audience where Chloe is just like on the verge of tears. I think completely made that work for me. Otherwise, it was dragging a lot. At least that's how I felt about it. Nicola, how was that moment in the studio? Because you would have actually seen the toss of the dummy versus us on camera on TV, only seeing the camera pointed at the window with the dummy just going right next to it.
So when I saw them setting back up the window during the sketch, I was so confused. I'm like, what are they going here? And then Keenan shows up being like, so glad I have like put this window back together, and they're going to throw this dummy, and I look at them and I'm like, they are way too far away from that window for it to possibly make through at like a force enough to knock it down. And so sure enough, it did not go through on first try. But I mean, that's just like what I love about SNL, and seeing that in person was so cool. I loved watching Jeremy and Tommy doing their little dance even when the camera cut away from them. The choreography was very funny to me.
So who actually threw the dummy, the one that missed the window?
I'm wondering if it was Tommy then, because they're throwing the Jeremy dummy. Yeah.
Was there any reaction like from them? Like, were they lit up on stage? Like, did you see them react like, oh shit, I just missed the window?
Yes. Whoever it was,
Oh,
it was either Jeremy throwing himself or Tommy throwing Jeremy, but yeah, you could definitely
okay.
tell.
Yeah, I really wish I saw that, because the camera footage of them as like second or third episode cast members realizing that they may have just messed up an entire sketch is like, that's gold. Like, that's the stuff you only get to see when you're in studio. So I love that, Nicola. Sean, how did you feel about this sketch?
Yeah, I was just laughing at its most base elements. I mean, of course, I figured that there was something I didn't understand about these seminars. I know what a seminar is. And what happens at these types of self-help things. But I was like, maybe there's some, I know Haskell said something about what they do on TikTok, or what some particular type of thing that, because I was like, I really didn't get some of it, but I was okay with that because I do like dummies getting, thrown around. Martin Lawrence used to do it a lot on the show Martin. You'd see a person substituted for a dummy and you get beaten up and maybe their head rolls off or something crazy or something fun like that. But I think little things like that are what makes the show what it is, what separates it from Mad TV, Rich, okay, that you can have a live sketch and things do go wrong, and you need a vet sometimes, a quick thinking person like a Keenan to do a small thing like that. It doesn't seem like much, but in the moment, in a live setting on television, that's a big save and something that a vet could do seamlessly rather than just laugh at how it went bad and stuff. But I like sketches like that involve physicality and things that can go wrong. And I like them at a very base level. So I didn't have to understand what was going on a macrocosmic level. I just had to understand that part and enjoyed it.
I want to shout out, I believe it's Saleha in the chat, so please let me know if I pronounce that correctly. Great comment here that says the sketch was based on a real podcast from this girl, Princess Aisha, who talks exactly like that and has a phone clip similar to the sketch. Okay, so that's good information that I didn't even know myself. But yeah, I mean, just a fascinating thing to think about what this was based on, Nicola. I would love to know how you felt about the sketch overall.
Overall, I did really enjoy the physicality of it. Was definitely the highlight for me, and seeing the dummies getting thrown around just like the Ariana Grande episode. It's just so crazy, and it'll get me every time just to have this hard cut to the dummies being flailed around.
Yeah, and I didn't get a chance to watch this on Peacock or on YouTube, but I would love to know from either the chat or if anyone in the panelists know, did they keep the dummy mistake in this version? Because when we talk about another sketch later, I'm going to go on quite a rant about them fixing mistakes. But I really hope that they did. That would be something that I would love to see from chat, if you guys can let me know. So one other thing about this sketch, Haskell, that you brought up, which is that you said that you loved Sarah Sherman's reactions to what was going on here in this sketch. I think part of the reason the sketch didn't play for me in full was because I said on Saturday that I didn't really believe Chloe and Sarah in this role. We saw this a lot in the premiere where they're in restaurant sketches reacting to sperm donors and the K-pop demon hunters. And I feel like they're kind of miscast as being the people who have things react to stuff happening around them. Chloe, I think I can even buy more than Sarah. I think that I'm so happy to see Sarah in so much in this show, but she is like the type of person that should be the Queen Leisha in this sketch and not the person reacting to the Queen Leisha. So I part of that really confounds me. Why do you feel that this works so well for Sarah?
I'm actually the reverse. Well, it's so weird when it was in the premiere, and then seeing them paired up so much this year. I'm so like it's so weird to me to be like, there's the veteran female cast right there. Like, feels like in a blink of an eye that happened. I'm actually I'm reversed. I like Sarah Sherman in the role more than I like Chloe Fineman. I think Sarah Sherman actually plays a little bit of exasperated without feeling like she's overacting too much. But I'm totally in agreement that I think this sketch, we've said it a ton over the last few years, right? We look at a sketch, Sarah Sherman's in it, and we go like, that could use a little bit more Sarah Squirm, right? Like her in that role where maybe a little bit more body humor as she's getting more beat up in this would have really elevated this sketch for me. So while I don't think this is like, I don't want to see Sarah Sherman in like as the straight man in a lot of sketches. I think it's more just fun when she's able to play that role.
Yeah, and she can do it, but I also want to like not conflate a sentiment that I think a lot of us feel, which is that we would all love to see more Sarah Squirm on the show, but that's not even what I'm talking about here. Like, I don't even care if she's the one that gets beat up, though I did say she could play the Queen Leadership role. Like, I just want to see, like, or I'll say this, I don't need to see like blood from her. I don't need to see body horror or body like fluids from Sarah. I just want to see like movement and reactions and things that are happening besides just her being the person that's seated in a sketch commenting on the things that are happening around her, because it just feels like you go to one of her shows or you watch clips from one of her shows and she is like, you cannot take your eyes off her because she is so enthralling, so exciting. And then I almost feel like she's like neutered on this show in a way that maybe benefits them having her in more sketches. But at what cost, Sean, are we taking Sarah's, like, why we got her in the first place to then have her in these sketches?
Listen, damn it. I was thinking of another point I wanted to make. I wasn't even listening to what you were saying about Sarah. I'll be honest. I was going to ask you guys a question. But yeah, I agree. You're so passionate about what you're saying right now, John, that I'm going to go, yes. I agree with John, first of all, because you're mad. And you're the boss. But also, I want to ask you guys, when you're live in studio, right, and you see things like the window getting repaired and realizing that it's going to break again or something, does that ruin the joke for you when you're there? Like, maybe that's why you're not hearing people laugh through the camera sometimes, because they're trying to get ahead of the joke in person. Like, I don't know if that was some of your experience, Nicola.
I can talk about later of how like they hid some stuff with another sketch, but for this one, maybe it's just because I'm a bit dumb, but when they were setting up the window, I really did not see that coming, and also the added like little mishap there, like it totally hit for me. Yeah.
Nicola, do you want to comment on the Sarah thing, that the rant, the passionate rant that I'm going on? Do you feel similar to me that you would like to see Sarah in some other roles?
Yeah, I would love to see like versatility with Sarah. Like seeing her in this sketch, it wasn't particularly something that stood out to me, and that like I had a strong opinion on, like this isn't the role for her. It was all right for me. I was really focusing because the way it was set up, like the actual seminar of like them dancing was right in front of me, and then them in the chairs was kind of like off to the side of my peripherals, so I was really looking like directly in front of me.
Okay. All right, Sean, I'm going to send it back over to you for the sketch that you want to talk about. You're just coming in a little bit low, Sean. So do you want to just move slightly closer to your microphone, just to make sure that yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, so there you go. So Sean, tell us what you want to talk about.
Mine's is the Shop TV sketch. Where with the sight gag, Sarah Carpenter I want to make sure. Yeah, she played the 12-year-old. She was 12, and she made this like a neck pillow, and the neck pillow looks a lot like a part of the female anatomy. And it's a great side gag. I love that it makes sense functionality wise as far as being a neck pillow, but it just happens to look a lot like a vagina, and they played it so well. I love Mikey Day's reactions and how they, the two hosts, and of course it was amplified. It was a good build up in the sketch with the callers, the third call being the most zany, and the fact that he was still on the line after after saying his first joke and receiving the next joke. I believe that was Keenan, right? Or I couldn't tell at first it was Cam, but I thought it was Cam, but then when you wrote Keenan was in it.
Oh, that was definitely Keenan. I'll play just a bit of that for you, Sean.
No one wants to get one of these all stinky.
Yeah. Okay. I do.
Okay, yeah, for sure, Keith. Super funny, man. But yeah, I love that sketch, and I feel like you can bring these characters back. This is a game sketch, but there's still character things that Mikey and I believe, oh gosh, I want to say, is that Ashley?
Yeah, Ashley.
Ashley was doing. Yeah, Ashley, they were doing some fun character things as far as the reacting. At first, I didn't think Ashley got it because a lot of the reacting was going to Mikey. A lot of the big reaction was going to him. But I saw that she was on board with the game, and everybody but the 12-year-old girl knew what was going on. So I'm sure there's some more sight gag they can come up with. Shop TV, I think, could be a fun little go-to in the future.
Yeah, it definitely is, especially because they continue to come up with amazing props that they put on TV. So like, to me, this is what can we possibly do physically in the prop department, and then let's build the rest of the sketch around there. And I thought this is really good. It was notable because Ashley Padilla comes in and replaces Heidi Gardner, who had previously replaced Cecily Strong in this sketch. As this is, you could sort of fill in a co-host next to Mikey, who does a great reaction. So I'll play a couple clips here. I thought Mikey continued to do a great job as a Rhett, commenting on what was happening when he saw
different layers
throughout the sketch. But then also, shout out to Ashley, who we'll talk about a lot for the rest of this podcast, who, is coming in and replacing Heidi in this sketch, somebody who they have a similar background as far as how they got into SNL. They had some great roles together last season. And here comes Ashley as the co-host.
Bev, have you ever felt anything like that?
Oh, not since my sophomore year of college.
Yeah. And I think she nailed it, and she fit right in with that sketch. Nicola, how did you feel about our Shop TV travel neck pillow sketch?
I enjoyed it. The absurdity.
Absurdity, yes.
Yes, thank you so much. It's been a long day. And seeing everybody's reactions to it and the gasps in audience was just so lovely to see. Sabrina's amazing accent work was so fun. I loved Ashley and all the references to Odell. Also seeing the non-blurred version of Mikey putting his hand in the neck pillow was really fun.
Oh yeah, so what was actually happening when we got the blur on?
He was putting his hand in there.
Okay, all right.
Yep. And that's about it.
Okay. Yeah, well, good to know. That's good. Some good behind the scenes information. So Haskell, we have seen this 3 times before. How did you feel about this 4th edition?
Yeah, like you said, it's a really fun game to play because of the prop of it all. There's some very twisted thought that goes into what they're going to be doing with it. And it's just really fun because of that. When you see this come up and you see Mikey Day in that character, and you're going to get the game, you're going to get some sort of object that they're selling that's going to look overtly sexual. But because you're kind of playing with a prop, I feel like there's just some more hidden games in there. It's not just going to be one thing. There's going to be things that at first you don't notice that then get pointed out a little bit. And you're like, oh, okay, they built that in there as well. They always kind of twist it a little bit with something else. I thought the line of the night for me, she goes it comes in 12 different colors, and Mikey Day goes, then why'd you bring pink? I thought that was a really fun one, to really call to the absurdity of it. This didn't have to happen this way. And I don't know, I haven't gone back and watched the other 3. I don't know if they've used that joke yet, where it's oh, this didn't even really need to happen. You designed this. Yes, it looks a certain way, but we could have. But and then Ashley Padilla, listen, first you're seeing how they Lauren kind of drafted his Heidi Gardner replacement a year early. I think being somebody who plays Mikey Day's foil on SNL, especially his female counterpart, is a bona fide way to get yourself in the show. I think it's something that really helped Heidi early in her run as well. Even to that point, that line you played from her a minute ago, dude, if you just played that and said it wasn't from this week's episode, that sounds like Heidi Gardner. And not to just say that Ashley Padilla is a copy of Heidi Gardner. She does a lot of stuff that's really good that's specific to her, but just to kind of give her the props that she right away feels she could be a big time player this year.
Yeah, no, look, the truth is that there's no way that SNL would ever feel comfortable moving on from Heidi Gardner or Heidi moving on from the show without having someone like Ashley in place. Not that they're a direct 1-for-1, but I'm sure they feel pretty good having somebody like Ashley in place with Heidi no longer on the cast. Sean, did you want to jump in on anything else from this sketch?
Yeah, no, I was going to ask. I know Heidi went to Groundlings with Mikey. I know they were both in the cast together at Groundlings. Where did Ashley come from? Do you know?
She also came from the Groundlings.
Well, then that makes sense. Oh, got it. I
Yeah.
had no idea. I didn't know that.
Yeah, exactly. All right. And I see Victor asking in the chat. I believe the first caller was Tommy in this one. So there was Tommy and Ashley. Oh, sorry, Tommy and I think it was, Tommy and Andrew and Keenan. That's what it was in this one. Okay. Nicola, I'm going to send it over to you for the sketch that you want to talk about.
All right. The sketch that I have chosen to talk about is Office Birthday Surprise or Office Surprise. And this one surprised me so much because I am not a big fart humor person, but I swear Ashley Padilla could play tic-tac-toe, and I would say promote her to rep now. She's just, her performance that she gives in this is truly amazing and something to marvel at. I've seen so many people posting online being like, who is this woman? And yeah, she knows how to work the silence so well, and I've seen it in a ton of the stuff that she's done on the show, especially this season, like being comfortable with that silence in a sketch and like not having to have an immediate laugh was just like amazing to see her work. I thought it was interesting that they chose to upload the dress version of this sketch, which I'm sure we'll talk about. And also it's the second sketch that I noticed of the night where Ashley's character is really insecure about a coworker coming for her job, the other time being in the Girl Boss seminar.
So thank you for bringing this up. I am so excited to talk about this sketch. For me, this was an incredible moment in a season full of incredible moments for Ashley, only 3 episodes in. I'm going to play you this farting surprise moment. It is a rather long clip, so I'll probably just jump in a little bit throughout it. But the silence and the awkwardness of this whole thing is pure art. So let me play this. This is from the live version, and then we'll talk about what happened. So here we go.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
Okay, so just want to say we're about 20 seconds into this thing. So we're already going for a while, and there's a lot of just like living in what is happening here.
Oh, God. Oh.
Okay, so I just want to say we've got another full 20 seconds of just her going, oh God, oh God.
Happy? Jesus Christ. Oh.
I just want to say, in a show that is timed to the second, the fact that they gave her that much room to let that moment simmer is unbelievable. The way that she made everybody feel so badly about themselves is something that only the best of the best could ever do on this show. And it was another amazing moment for Ashley in this sketch. Haskell, I want to get your take on this sketch that we saw from Ashley.
Yeah, I'm glad that so many people are kind of in lock and step with this. Like, it made so much, like, that was the noticeable part of the sketch, was that sort of awkward. It wasn't like silence, but like, I don't remember many times on the show hearing somebody go so low, almost into a whisper, without it being like a exaggerated whisper where we're still supposed to hear them. It was so different from a lot of different things. And I'm not a fart machine guy. I think once you hear the first fake fart, like I don't need to hear the 10, like, to me, it felt like the sound department walked in and was like, we got a new fart sound machine, so let's break it open and get all the farts out. Like, I didn't need the rest of that, but that first reaction's so good. And there is some stuff in that sketch where, not to again just kind of compare Ashley Padilla, but to somebody else, but I felt like there was a little bit of like a subdued Tim Robinson in there, like in sort of her ability to go from like very quiet kind of aggravation to then over the top. I thought that was really, really fun. Like I said, not a fart machine guy, so the farts weren't particularly funny, but Ashley Padilla's performance was. And then, of course, John's favorite thing, John, I know you loved it. You probably gave it a standing ovation when they give us it was all an ad overlay at the end. I thought the last 6 seconds of that sketch kind of didn't ruin the sketch, but I kind of went like that. This is when you're going over the top, and you killed a little bit of momentum from what was a really good sketch with a really sour ending.
I was just, I didn't even bring it up on Saturday because I was like, as a community, we're all just going to pretend like that didn't happen. That's how I felt about it, because I just felt like they blew up the building and like they didn't need it to go to Party City. That was completely unnecessary. So I'll just, retcon that. But I will say, I completely agree with you. I think there's a lot of comparisons we can make for Ashley, but I think it's about time that we start putting Ashley in her own category of like, we're seeing stuff on the show that she's doing that maybe nobody else has ever done on the show. So I'll talk about that in a moment, but I do want to get Sean's take on this sketch overall. So Sean, how do you feel about the surprise?
Yeah, somebody who listens for the audience's reaction, yeah, that definitely seemed to get the biggest live reaction, the way she played into that moment. Because, I mean, a lot of people get aggravated by farts. It's one of the first ever written jokes. I believe somewhere in ancient Mesopotamia, it's the first ever written joke was about somebody farting. And it's just, people get turned off just by the noise because they feel like they know the joke that's coming. But it's not about the fart. It was about how she played into it, the awkwardness of the moment. And then that character was rich after that. That character was, she didn't even know what she did for a living. Like, the character kept building. Like, it wasn't, that's why I'm like, I hope she didn't die in that explosion, because that would, I want to see more of that type of character. The fart could just, it's there. That's a part of her character pattern, perhaps. But definitely somebody that is completely aloof to her surroundings, her job title, her job duties, and what she makes, and also concerned with what other people make. I think that sketch had good legs and it moved. Yeah, it was fun. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, she gave me a great laugh with that line that you just mentioned.
How much she make?
Just making it even more awkward for everybody else. Okay, I have too many rants to go on. One is good and one is bad. So Haskell, you decide. Do you want me to go good or bad first?
Let's get the negativity out of the way, John.
All right, let me just say this. Shame on you, Saturday Night Live, for uploading the dressed version of this sketch. I don't care if you mistimed a fart. What you did here was completely make the process of the show invalidated. The whole point of the show is that we are ramping up to go live at 11:30 on a Saturday night. If mistakes happen, they happen. Now you are deciding to remove what is canon from the show and what is not. What happened in dress rehearsal that you are now showing to everybody, not only on YouTube, but also on Peacock, was only shown to 200 people in front of a live audience, had different timing restrictions than what the actual live show did. And more importantly than ever, was not Ashley Padilla's like 100%, because there are so many cast members. Go to Dana Carvey's podcast, go to Amy Poehler's podcast, listen to them talk about how they are trying to peak while they are on air. It is like going to film a training squad game or a practice squad game that is happening at a training facility and not a real NFL game. I get that the dress rehearsal takes place in studio and they're all dressed similarly, even if Sabrina Carpenter was in a different wig for this, but it is playing with what is actually happened on the show or not, and not allowing the audience to evaluate a sketch properly. So to me, it's like taking advantage of us that you guys decided to post the dress version. I'm not saying you can never do it. If something goes horribly wrong and you want to fix a shot here or there, I get that. But replacing the entire sketch to me is absolutely ridiculous. Like, what is the point of the show if we're just going to pick and choose which version of the sketch worked better, dress or air, and just pretend like that was the better version? Does anybody on this panel disagree with me?
Yeah, I mean,
sir.
yeah, like what? I don't even get really the point. Like, what is who cares that you like? Is that what it was? They mistimed a fart. I don't even think I
That's my
realized it was.
understanding. Like, I think Ben was breaking a little bit more in the dress one. Like, I don't know if that's the reason for it, but is that what you think it is, Nicola?
Yeah, I was just looking at like when I came out of the show and like saw later that that's the one that they posted, and I noticed that he was breaking more. I did not notice a mistimed fart in studio, and I thought like it was a disservice to Ashley's performance because like in dress she did like flub a line, which is totally fine, and even if she did that in live, that's fine. But like you said, she's giving her 100% at live, and I think people deserve to see that, even though she was still amazing in dress.
We got to get the Zack Snyder fans on this. They'll get the other one released. They're pretty good at that.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and again, like the chat is saying post both. Like, it is totally fine to post dress version and air version if you think something funny really happened in dress that you want to show to us after the fact online as bonus footage. I take no issue with that. What I take issue with is that this show has a purpose. It's not just a sketch show that airs on Saturday night. It happens to air live for a reason. Otherwise, just pre-tape the whole damn show and just put out your best stuff. That's what I don't understand, Sean. It's driving me crazy.
Hey, man, you're going too hard on this, John. You're finally getting connections to SNL. Lord, like, people know you. Stop doing this, man. You're shooting yourself in the foot. But I've been doing this podcast for how many years? John, what do you make, man? I forgot to ask you that. What the hell do you make to do this podcast?
$180K plus benefits, Sean?
Damn! I paid John to be on here.
Let me just say this. John, I want you to get fired up about this. I want you to get everybody going on this. Start the hashtags, and I just want to say, NBC, I'll push whatever version of the sketch you want. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Haskell. My new boss is Haskell. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyways, I really feel, honestly, like I'm annoyed about this as an SNL fan who's watched the show for years, who has gone on YouTube to watch old sketches and then watched old taped episodes and been like, what actually happened? Like, the show is a time capsule. It's supposed to be a record of events. I want to know what happened at 11:30 on a Saturday night, but you guys at home understand what I'm saying. So that was the bad. The good is that if I haven't given enough praise to Ashley Padilla before, I'm going to say it now. I think we are watching a generational talent at Saturday Night Live. With all respect to amazing cast members like James Austin Johnson, who came in and just like blew us away right away. I don't think that there's been anyone that's come into the show in an entire generation that has the upside that Ashley Padilla does. I think we are looking at somebody who could end up being a top 30, 20, 10 cast member if she continues on this trajectory. And I have to say, that is the reason why I watch Saturday Night Live, because I love the idea that you can pick someone out of obscurity. That last year, if you go back to our preseason where we were talking about the cast release, we were more excited about Emil and Jane than Ashley, because nobody knew, except if you went to a Groundling show, who Ashley was. And then she comes out of that place and is the one who is mostly declared Rookie of the Year from a lot of our community, and then now has the opportunity to ascend into greatness. And there's other names on this cast that I believe have the popularity where people will consider them the face of the show. But Ashley Padilla is the star of the show. She is carrying season 51 on her back. And I am so excited to watch the show week after week, no matter how you feel about these sketches, knowing that Ashley Padilla is here and we are going to get years of greatness from her. This is an incredible moment for you as an SNL fan if you are watching the show right now. Nicola, do you feel similar to me?
100%. Like, I was worried when I picked this sketch because I'm like, am I going to overstate how much like Ashley is just a star? But I really think you can't. And I'm glad that more people are realizing it now from this performance, and just like so many people saying, hey, I usually don't like fart humor, but this girl can work with it and make a good idea great. And yeah, I'm just so excited. I hope she stays on the show for longer because she is so talented, and I hope she doesn't get like snatched up for something else, because like we need to see more of her and see her grow on the show, and we need to see her get promoted. Starting my campaign now.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like it's semantics whether she's a feature player or repertory player, because she is getting the work of somebody who has been on the show for years because she has earned it and worked for that. But yeah, it's not even just this fart sketch, Haskell. It's the week number 1 with the parent-teacher conference. It's week number 2 being in 8 sketches and all over the show. And then again, she comes in here and just blows us all away. So I would just love to know how you feel about her, knowing how much you've watched of Saturday Night Live.
She's having a real Drake May season for all you Patriots fans, man. It's like you see some flashes in year 1 and all of a sudden she's making the year 5 leap in year number 2. It's pretty cool to watch. I think she maybe didn't through the first half of last year didn't get like a super standout role or something. And I think sometimes as fans, and based on history, sometimes that scares us. We're like, oh, I don't know if they're going to get a year number 2. But I also wonder if there's an advantage to that, to not be overexposed early on. And then you really start to shine at the second half of your rookie year. And by the time your season 2 rolls around and you're getting these opportunities, you've been at SNL and you know how it works. And I think there is some really cool comparisons. Like I keep coming back to, I think similar things happened with Heidi Gardner, like where you were like, I think I've seen some flashes here. And then it felt like the knob just turned and she became the quarterback of the show. I think Ashley Padilla can do the exact same thing, where some flashes early on, a good start to the year, but you wouldn't be shocked if, we get to the end of this year and we're talking about Ashley Padilla as a top 2, 3, maybe 4 of sketch appearances this year. I wouldn't be shocked at all.
Yeah, and for me, it's like there's the metric shows that we do here that we'll talk about, like those analytics throughout the entire season. But there's also this eye test thing that I'm seeing, Sean, where I've gone back and I've watched every season of this show, and sometimes a new cast member comes in and pops in, and you just see magic. And it's like, I got that with Will Ferrell. I got that with Kristen Wiig. Like, I'm getting that with Ashley Padilla. I just have to be honest, Sean. So how do you feel about her overall?
I was enjoying her until you just ruined her for me, John. You just made her chase all the ghosts, man. You just now I can't just watch and enjoy this youngster, man. I gotta see Kristen Wiig when I'm looking at her. I gotta see all these she's chasing the ghosts now. And you just put that pressure on her as somebody who's a nerd about the show like that. Now it's putting pressure on me. Now I gotta watch it. I can't just enjoy it now. Now you put her in a whole another class. And she could live up to it, though. I think if she does, then yeah, she's for sure top 30, top. Maybe who knows? But she's very funny. I enjoy her. And the Groundlings is nothing to scoff at, man. They I think that their program is the most intensively similar to SNL. As far as getting in and becoming. I did the improv program. I didn't finish their writing lab, because I had to go do Just for Laughs, New Faces, stand-up comedy pays the bills, baby. But sketch comedy is, you have to do it for a year. No, every 6 months they renew. If you don't know how the Sunday company works at Groundlings, you do Sunday company every 6 months, and that's all you can do. You can't do nothing else. Stand up. I'm sure they might do commercials, whatever, but it's very time-consuming, and it's very intensive to sketch. And they write new sketches every week for those 6 months, and then they get cut, 6 months cut. And if after, a year and a half, if you don't make it, you'll never be a Groundling and you're done. But she made it through all that. She became a Groundling, and here she is. So bam, bam.
Yeah. And sorry, Ashley, for putting this pressure on you, but I feel like I wouldn't be doing my duty if I didn't call what I'm seeing. I mean, I think when Patrick Mahomes was doing what he was doing and people were making Brady comparisons, like it was out of the professional regard for what they were seeing. And, she has to go out and continue to do it. But so far, only 3 episodes into this season, she is crushing week after week. And I can't wait to see what she continues to do moving forward. Let's talk about one more sketch that we want to dive into more. And that's for somebody who's even earlier in their career, but certainly has a lot of potential. And that is the sketch that we saw from Veronica Slowakowska, the appliance jingles sketch. This is a sketch where, again, we see the pairing of Andrew and Ashley, who come in, want to buy a new washer dryer set. They know that they mostly end on jingles, and they are introduced by Kenan Thompson to a very special washer dryer that is has jingles performed by the pair of Sabrina Carpenter and Veronica. And it is so much fun to see them and finally get Veronica 3 episodes in to have a big moment on the show together. I was so impressed with her and thought this was such a fun idea for a sketch. So Haskell, how did you feel about Veronica's big moments on this night?
You know, I loved her in Tires. I'm not super familiar with her TikTok work, but I really loved her in Tires. And she was kind of, I think her coming in and Cam Patterson coming in, like I thought those were the 2 rookies that could really, like, these first 3 weeks take over. I think they both had some really nice moments, but haven't really taken over. I just thought they had the potential to be so seasoned in what they do. And I hadn't really seen that in this sketch. It was really fun. I don't know if I got it. Like, was the joke of the sketch like my like dryer, when it stops, will like play a jingle for like 45 seconds. I don't know if we were like supposed to be making fun of that, but I also, a sketch is fun when you go like, I don't really get what they're doing here, but I'm having a lot of fun. And I also think there was like a couple of those jingles. Veronica was like, she was kind of out singing Sabrina Carpenter a little bit. I was like impressed. Like I was like, she can bring it here, huh? That was pretty cool. And I also just like, you just went on a rant about how the show is live. And I love kind of natural moments where you remember the show is live and you look and you see the tearaway dryer kind of falling off Veronica early. And I like the sort of the tension of that, where you're like, ooh, is this going to fall apart on us? Like, is she going to be dealing with that the whole sketch and that sort of stuff? And to your point, John, like, I don't want to see the dress version where that went perfectly well. Like, I like seeing where everything, and then when they finally pull them away, you're like, okay, we made it through that. So, yeah, I thought it was just kind of I don't think it was the funniest sketch, but it was a real fun sketch.
Yeah, I thought it was real fun. It sort of reminded me of like, sometimes they've done like Beauty and the Beast sketches where they have like the singing, I guess, things that are in the mansion and stuff like that. So that would be the closest thing I can compare to it. But I honestly, Nicola, don't remember any other sketch that was like this. And I thought it was really cool and creative when you get, a new cast member in who has a fresh perspective. It's fascinating to get to see what they can pull off on the show. And I thought Veronica held her own next to one of the biggest pop stars in the world. So how did it play for you?
I loved it so much. I love Veronica. Like, just seeing a fellow Canadian girl just succeed warms my heart, and I want like all of the success for her. And I knew she could sing. I've seen her, like, clips of her at 54 Below and other clips of her singing. Like, I knew she had a voice, and I'm really glad that they're using it on the show. Watching it in studio in her dryer costume falling apart, like when they would cut away from her and she was trying to fix it, was the most nerve-wracking thing for me. So I can only imagine how scary that was to be her in that instance. But like, not only is she hilarious, but I feel like she handled that like a pro, and like quickly adapting to, okay, I'm going to turn to the side so that I can still continue the sketch and not ruin the surprise fully, and still, like, while singing, is amazing. And that's why she is where she is.
Yeah, and I think that those are the types of moments that really impress the producers of the show. The fact that the prop was falling apart and she knew to angle herself in a way where you don't see it as much when the camera goes back to her. I think that's the type of thing that Lauren will notice and will want to give her more because of that. So it was a great moment for Veronica. Sean, how did the sketch play for you?
I enjoyed the sketch, man. I feel like this is, I don't want to say it's timeless in the sense of how good it is as a sketch, but like I was saying earlier with TikTok things and things that I don't get, but I just sit and try to enjoy it as much as I can without knowing what it's referencing. This type of thing is what sketch comedy is all about. It's finding a small little slice of life. And, you know, we all for decades or however long have experienced some sort of, my drive does a terrible, like it's horrible. It sounds like a jail noise, and it startles my wife and I every time it goes off. But it's good to finally have a dryer. I just got a dryer. I just got money. And to that, yeah, I'm rich. I don't need your money, John. Okay, you keep your stupid money. I don't need to get paid.
I don't think you want to be associated with anything that's rich.
No, yeah, forget it. I hate rich. I'm wealthy. But no, I'm talking about Rich Tackenberg. But anyway, listen, I do appreciate Sabrina for allowing Veronica. I don't say allowing, right? But a lot of stars are weird about stuff like someone singing next to them, right? I've earned this, you know, star status by, you know, putting my work into the music industry. And like in anything, when you just let somebody else, you know, come next to you and do it and try to show you up, some people will say, because they're rooting for the underdog, oh, she outsang her, or this, that, and the other. People try to build their name off of your hard work by singing next to you. There's a lot of celebrities that wouldn't do that, that wouldn't allow that. I did a commercial, I won't say the lady's name, but there was a pretty girl who was an extra behind her. And, well, actually, it wasn't her decision. It was her manager's decision to move the girl away from, because she looked too similar, was too pretty or something. I don't know. They didn't say why, but when you look, you're like, oh, that must be, you know, anyway, like stuff like that is a thing. People, you know, want their star status or their celebrity to be preserved in the most weird ways, ways that we don't think about. So to risk it by singing next to a, you know, non-singer or non-musical star was really game of her. And I enjoyed the whole thing, man. I enjoyed Keenan. What he does, man, people never, you know, he's hard to appreciate, but I feel like anybody else in that kind of role doesn't seem as invested in the appliances or in the game that's developed now. And he really moved it along as well.
I want to shout out a couple moments in this sketch. Number one is you talked briefly about the couple of Andrew and Ashley that we've seen throughout these 3 episodes. Another amazing moment here in this sketch.
You know what you should get stuck in your head? Our anniversary. It's today.
Once you cheated, I chose to forget.
So good. I played that clip so many times in the last day. I love that one. Also, I enjoyed this from Sabrina and Veronica.
I ate 2 of your shirts. Yum.
That was so good. But yeah, seriously, they were a great pair. I saw a really nice photo somewhere of Veronica and Sabrina at the after party sitting next to each other, like having drinks. And I was like, Veronica must be having the time of her life. So happy that she finally made the show and had her big moment there. So for all the talk about all of the veterans and Ashley and everybody producing on the show, it is so cool to get some new cast members also having some big moments between her, Tommy on Update. There was a lot of good stuff that we saw here tonight. Okay, let's go around the panel and do some rapid fire for anything else we didn't talk about from this episode that we would like to mention. So Haskell, you got anything for us?
Yeah, you just said it. My boy Tommy, right? I was just on the we did our preview of his rookie year a couple weeks ago. We filmed that, and I said one of the keys to the season for him was to get on Weekend Update early, start establishing that character. I thought he nailed it with his presence. It was some stand-up stuff that if you're familiar with his work wouldn't surprise you. But I thought it was really good. I did think it was kind of the character that we would see him do on SNL as a stand-up. And he left me on red when I said we were going to become best friends after that episode. So, Tommy, take 2. Best friends? What do you think? Huh? We'll see.
Yeah, it depends if you go to church or not, Haskell. Then you'll decide. Sean, I'd love to get your take on Tommy, who is having his first big moment really on the show. He's been in a good amount of sketches so far, but we knew that he would eventually make his way to the Update desk, being a stand-up that was hired for the show. So as a stand-up yourself, how did you feel like he did on Update this week?
Killed it. Great job, Tommy. And speaking of friends, look at Tommy's Instagram right here. Look who he's following, baby. That's your boy, Sean. Yeah, that's right. We really friends. And we hey, Mike Longfellow, we still, you're not being replaced. I love you, man. Okay, but I'm mad at what happened to you. But damn it, I'm on the Tommy bandwagon too. He killed it. And Jones, get the hell out of there, man. Let one of these youngsters take the weekend desk, man. One of these funny stand-ups, like Tommy, bring back Longfellow, somebody. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they're going to do that, but hopefully we'll get Longfellow over here at least to talk to us a little bit sometime soon. But yeah, really happy for Tommy Brennan at the update desk this week. Sean, I just want to head back to you. Is there anything else from this episode that you want to touch on that we didn't yet?
Oh man, I enjoy. I loved it all, man. I even watched the musical Pins. You know I didn't see the goodbyes. You got me addicted to watching the goodbyes now, and it's so weird. I watched the last two, but anyway, I missed it. I don't know if it got cut off or something like that because of the late start. So I did. Were the goodbyes? Were you able to see it watching it live? I got a late stream.
Well, my feed cut off pretty quickly, but I will say for anybody, this is a good tip just for you or anybody who doesn't get the full good nights, is that SNL will always post the full good nights to X. So if you're on there and you go to their feed, you'll get the full.
That's so crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy because it's like you're watching people say fake goodbye. That's so crazy, and they're good at they're doing it for like they're not really saying goodbye because they still have to go in the back and. You know what I mean? Like, and there was a party afterwards. Some might not go to the party, but you still have to get your stuff. And I think that's hilarious, watching people fake say goodbye. I don't know, but now I'm addicted to it because do you ever pick up things that are real? Like, oh, there's a beef here. He's not saying goodbye to him or shaking it. Yeah.
I mean, SNL history is littered with famous good night moments.
Weird Wallen last year, right?
Yeah.
Just last year. Can I just say something about the good nights though, real quick? Is like it's really impressive to see somebody up on that stage saying good night with no musical guest, no cameos up there. Like it almost, if you watch the good nights, it felt like Sabrina Carpenter. My feed didn't cut off very quickly, and it almost felt like Sabrina Carpenter was trying to stretch because there was no thank you to the musical guest. I mean, there are some episodes where they're thanking 6 cameo appearances. And they didn't have to on this. And I think that just is, again, like so impressive that Sabrina Carpenter showed up here, pulled double duty, and did not have any, was not being carried by any cameo appearances or anything like that.
Yeah, I went back to see the last time that happened, and it was Megan Thee Stallion's episode in season 48. So it wasn't that long ago. I thought I was uncovering this wild stat, but it is very rare. So first time in 3 years that we have a pretty empty goodnight sketch.
I gotta see. Robe Life said in season 6, Charles Rocket tried to hug Bill Murray and got pushed away. I gotta see that. If that's real.
Honestly, it's a very good off-season podcast that maybe we should consider talking about the most famous goodnight moments.
I didn't know this was a thing until that fella just left. I thought that was the most natural thing to do is just leave if you have something to do. But now I realize, dang, first of all, that's crazy to just leave apparently. And then,
I'll also shout out our friend Rich, actually, by the way, because he a while ago got me into the idea of watching the Goodnights to see how close the cast members stand to the host, and perhaps that is a glimpse into how much they like them or not. But there's some Goodnight sleuthers out there. It's a great moment. All right, Nicola, since you were there in person, did you notice anything at the Goodnights, or was there anything else on your list that you would like to tell us about?
Yeah, so in terms of good nights, it was before they went back on air, Lauren was kind of at the stage and Sarah was doing the thing of come on, join us, Lauren. And just when Sabrina came up to the stage, Lauren gave her a little I don't know, maybe a thank you, just said something to her, and then she went up onto the stage. And I'm thinking maybe they didn't know, we didn't all know when to start clapping or finishing goodnights because we're so used to having so many cameos. It felt weird that it was just her, but definitely good vibes in the building for those. Other rapid fire things, I think it was Joe Sunday's first appearance in the Martin's pre-tape.
Yes.
Yeah, so great for them. Colin throwing the papers at update, he chucked them so far. The camera did not do it justice. They went up so high when he chucked those papers.
It's become a great GIF already of him throwing those papers off.
Yeah, it was really amazing. And Sabrina's musical performances, like the whole time, I'm just like, I hope she sounds as amazing on TV as she does in studio. Like her first one is just like the way she encapsulated girlhood. It was just an amazing performance. The hairbrush microphone was so cool. The guy that she said looked like her brother, which apparently she does not have a brother. I'm pretty sure they pulled from the bleachers because he like came back to the bleachers after. I'm pretty sure it's the same guy, and I could see them scanning the bleachers before the show to find someone for that. But yeah, I think that's all of my behind the scenes. Also, I think the cue cards were like fill in the blank cue cards for the audience bit, which I thought was interesting.
Oh, that is very interesting. That's good to know. Yeah, and I would agree with you about Sabrina Carpenter's performances, by the way. When she like went from the verse to the chorus of Man-Child, her voice sounded so good. It was really incredible. I thought she did a great job. And it's so hard to do double duty. She's running around all night, quick changes, like trying to do as much as she can to make this a great show, and then she has to perform twice as well. So extra props to Sabrina Carpenter for her performance. We would be remiss not to just briefly bring up the Snack Homies podcast. I just want to say that I did like it a lot more on the second watch. The timing watching this live felt like it took forever to get to what they were getting to, but knowing that Trump was going to come into that sketch made it a lot more enjoyable for me on a second watch. So I did enjoy that, and I thought James was absolutely hilarious.
Hello, Snack Homies. It's been a long time coming with regards to snacks and friendship, and from the standpoint of podcasts.
Yeah, and just this is a line that I think I'll be asking you guys after I just went on a rant to NBC about the dress.
Am I going to have in chat?
I don't know. Am I? But yeah, it was a great sketch moment, at least I'll say, versus the sketch itself. But I do think I want to also mention I probably was like a little hard on Jane Wickline a couple of weeks ago, especially for her getting the opportunity to return. Obviously, she's going to return if they ask her to, and they completely shut her out. And I was like, very like, okay, you're back on the show. Like, we got to get you in stuff. Like, we got to see why you were cast on the show and prove yourself. And I have to say that her role in Snack Homies, I think, may have been my favorite thing I've seen her do on the show. I know a lot of people love the stuff she brought from TikTok and love her opposite Marcelo on Update, but truly I do feel like she came into her own way, and she was also pretty good in the Martin Social Experiment. So I want to give some props to Jane Wickline for that, who hopefully maybe it took a little bit longer, but maybe she's getting on track, and I'm rooting for her. Okay, let's talk MVPs from this episode. So we will go through the stats of the week, and then I will ask you who you think the audience voted for as the top 3 MVP vote getters for this episode. Starting with Sabrina Carpenter, it was in 9 sketches and 2 performances. We got Keenan in 5 in an intro. We got Chloe in 5 in an intro, and then Dismukes in 5 for the rep players. We also had Sarah in 4, Marcelo in 3, Mikey and James in 2, and Bowen in 1 sketch for this episode. He was not in the building, but he did have the pre-tape grind music video. For the featured players, we had Ashley Padilla in 6 sketches, Veronica in 5, Tommy in 4, Jane, Jeremy, and Ben in 3, and Cam Patterson in 2. We also had appearances from Martin Herlihy and, as you said, Nicola Joe Sunday in their first sketch. So I'm going to go around. Haskell, who do you think the top 3 MVP vote getters were for week number 3?
I think Sabrina Carpenter, great host. We did not talk enough to Smukes tonight. Maybe he's just at that point now where this is just expected for him to be like one of the leaders of the show. And then Ashley Padilla had a great performance. So those would be my top 3.
Okay. Sabrina, Dismukes, and Ashley. Sean, who's the top 3 for the week?
Sabrina, Ashley, Tommy.
Okay. Tell us why.
Damn it. What the hell? Because Tommy followed me on Instagram. He did a great job and whatever. I enjoyed his death piece.
He's trying to steal my best friend.
Yeah,
he's trying to steal my best friend.
He's all mine. Haskell. I feel like, can you keep a stat of how long an active SNL cast member is following me on Instagram? Make sure you keep that, John, because it's been going on since Punky, because I think so maybe, I gotta make sure Punky was still following me, but yeah. So keep a stat on that, since at least when Punky was on the show, there's always been an active Luke Noel. I've always had somebody on SNL follow me. But and the first 2 of Sabrina did double duty. She killed it, and she was fun. She was game. She shared the stage with Veronica. That's why I heard she's number one. Ashley, super funny. I think she had the biggest moment in studio with that big laugh with the fart. And Tommy, because I love him.
All right, Nicola, who do you think the top three is for the week?
Mine are Sabrina, Ashley, and Veronica. I love my girls. I think they were so funny, and also especially Ashley and Veronica just really showed that like they're there for a reason, and there might be few women on the cast right now, but they are mighty and they are amazing.
All right. Well, you're all wrong, at least for who's number one, because this was a runaway with Ashley Padilla getting 65% of the vote for the MVP for week number 3. She was in second place. Well, you said Ashley first. I thought you said Sabrina first, Haskell.
No, so it's Sabrina, Dismukes, Ashley.
Oh, my bad. I thought it was the reverse order. All right. So Haskell is right. My bad. We'll take that back. Let's use the dress version of this, Haskell. So we'll put Ashley number one here with 65% of the vote, and seriously, like, ran away with this thing. I have never seen so many votes for MVP in a given week. The Army has come out and said that after 2 weeks of putting her in second place, she is officially deserving to get that number one MVP. So here you go, Ashley, for week number 3. Sabrina is in second place with 11% of the vote. And then Veronica in third place. You got all three, Nicola, there with 6% of the vote for Veronica in that big sketch. And then 2 of the PDD boys round out the top 5. We got Martin Herlihy in 4%. I guess people were excited to see Martin in his sketch that finally got in the air. There you go. And Ben Marshall had a good night with 3% of the vote. It comes in 5th place there. Tommy Brennan was the number 6 there, but didn't crack the top 5. So big congrats to Ashley for winning the MVP for week number 3. All right, let's look ahead to what's coming next on Saturday Night Live. And in less than 2 weeks' time, we have the return of Miles Teller to the show. He previously hosted the season 48 premiere, and we have music from Brandi Carlile, a very frequent guest at the show. So, Haskell, what are you excited about when we get Miles Teller to return to the show?
He was a good host. I remember he was in, if I'm not mistaken, he was in the cold open when he hosted, which was usually a sign of a trusted host. So I'm not a huge Miles Teller guy myself. I not my sort of actor, I guess, but I think he's going to be a sure hand, and that'll be pretty good. And Brandi Carlile is somebody who, yeah, you said, like, an SNL favorite. Like, I feel like a name that I don't hear a ton, but is always game to come on and be a musical guest on SNL, and always does a great job.
Yeah, I figured this might happen when we saw Miles Teller appear in the Bronx Beat sketch at the 50th. So I'm like, okay, he's still like top of mind. I don't think it was the most well-regarded premiere. It was an interesting one in that it was the debut for Longfellow and Devin and Marcelo and Molly. And it sort of felt like, okay, this is our first episode without Kate and 80. And it was like a big night for Saturday Night Live. But I would say that the biggest thing that I loved from that episode that I would love them to bring back is that, speaking of non-political cold opens, give me a Manning cast for the next episode in the cold open. I think that was so much fun when we had that to kick off the premiere with Andrew Dismukes and Miles Teller playing Eli and Peyton. And I think I would love SNL to have some meta moments with kicking off our next episode with that. Sean, what are you excited about when we see Miles Teller come back to the show?
Oh, he's a very strong actor, man. I enjoyed him in his first episode. I will say, anybody that's willing to show their body for a project, he showed full penis in one of his movies. Hey man, he's game. I've had to do that for this podcast before. I pulled not my penis yet. I haven't panicked in that matter, but I have showed off the 6-pack. This episode didn't need it, and I am a little hairy. But whenever I'm with Rich, he's so bad at doing the podcast that I have to do something to keep the viewers entertained. So anybody like myself, like Miles, who's willing to show their body and do whatever it takes to keep the viewers interested, I'm always for that. So go ahead, Miles.
Yes, I'm sure he was listening to everything you just said, Sean. Nicola, what are you most excited to see when Miles Teller comes back to the show?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on the Manning cast cold open. That was something that stood out to me last time. And also send something normal. I mean, there's always a plethora of male celebrities sending weird DMs that we can make fun of. So just pick a couple and have that again.
Yeah, and I will say that Miles tends to be like more of a generically cast person on the show. I think he's going to blend in very well. I think this is actually a pretty good choice because he does like the I guess like his win above replacement is like very even. Like you're going to get him in a sketch. He's not going to necessarily elevate. He's not going to necessarily make it worse. And I think this is going to be a cast heavy episode. So I think that if you're looking forward to seeing this cast continue to blend together, he's the right type of host to give cast members an opportunity on the show. So I like the pick. I'm happy to see him come back in that case. So before we get there, we have more coverage of Sabrina Carpenter's episode where Mike will be back on Wednesday night with a great panel. He's going to have Kirsten Rayala and Mark Malkoff on with him, who just released his new book about Johnny Carson. And he's going to come on with Mike to talk about some of the numbers of the week. So that will be Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, live here on our channel, and then after the fact on our podcast feed. Sammy and I will also be back with our coverage of season 31, episode 3 this week, where we're looking back at SNL 20 years later and talking about our memories and going through the sketches. This time it'll be the Catherine Zeta-Jones and Franz Ferdinand episode from October 22nd, 2005. So that'll be out for our patrons on our patron feed, and for members on our YouTube channel. That will be out for you. And then next Monday night, we're going to have our first feedback show of the season. So in case you're new here and you don't know what that is a show where we answer questions from the audience. It is an extremely interactive show. So you can show up live, you can write in the chat, you can ask questions. But if you really want to get your question into the show, we will put out a form on our social media later this week or on the weekend, and you can send in a question. And myself, Amanda Barkin, will co-host with me, and our patrons will be here throughout the night to call in and answer some questions. If you've ever wanted to podcast about Saturday Night Live, this is a great opportunity. You can join us at patreon.com/the SNL Network. We have a form available now to register to join us on the show, and we have people call in throughout the night to answer questions. It is very fun. That is how I met Nicola, actually, for the first time, called into one of our shows. So it is a great opportunity to come and join the party here over at the SNN. Very excited for that next Monday. And then, of course, coverage of the Miles Teller and Brandy Carlisle episode. Haskell, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. I really appreciate you having you here.
I always appreciate it. I don't have a six-pack to show off, so we'll keep this family friendly, I guess. Really? I don't know. But if you guys want to follow me, Andrew E. Haskell on social medias, my New England fans, I got stand-up dates all over New England. I will be at Roar Comedy Club at MGM Springfield this Friday, so still a chance to get some tickets.
Go check him out. He's hilarious. Sean has joined us as well and provided lots of very interesting moments here tonight. So Sean, thank you for being here.
Yes, and I wanted to confirm Punky Johnson's also been following me as well since 2020. So I've had an active somebody on SNL following me. So let's keep the streak going. Also, I'm doing Don't Tell Comedies Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in San Diego. So come see a Don't Tell show in San Diego Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I'll be on the lineup.
Check them out. All right, Nicola, thank you so much for joining us here tonight and all of your insight. Anything that you would like to say to the audience?
I also don't have a six-pack, but I was happy to be here nonetheless. It was such a fun time this weekend. I've just been truly grateful for the show, and I read back my lottery email and just saying SNL's the reason I've made so many new friends. And I love it so much. Definitely do the Patreon feedback show if you've been thinking about it. It's a great time and such a welcoming community. If you're interested, I'm doing some other comedy SNL adjacent stuff this week, and I'll be posting about it on my Instagram at NIKCHOLA.
Thank you, Nicola. And we're all very happy for you. So thanks for joining us here tonight. To never miss anything we have going on here at the SNN, make sure to subscribe to the podcast, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, and follow us at the SNL Network to never miss anything going on having to do with Saturday Night Live. I want to thank Late Nighter for being the presenting partner for our show here on this Monday night, Haskell, Nicola, and Sean for being amazing guests, and everyone in the live chat for contributing here to the show. Such a great Monday night group that we had here. So on behalf of everyone here at the SNN, my name is Jon Schneider, and we will see you next time. Have a good one.